not trying to be overt with my work. There is an intent of how I make it, but how somebody perceives it, I want to be a more subjective experience. At different moments, I want to say different things, but I think this body of work, I want to sort of make a commentary about between moments. Like, what is it like to be with another person? What is it like to be with yourself? What are these moments of like intimacy and vulnerability that we have or that we share, particularly in such a chaotic world? There's a moment where I kind of see it in my head, and then I'm like, oh, I know how to draw this. And sometimes I'll draw things 5 or 6 times until I get to the final image. Sometimes it happens the first moment I whip out my colored pencils. And so it's about taking what is uniquely mine, but then making it transferable in terms of the emotional states. Or, you know, we all know what it's like to be held or to hold another person, and that feeling of being in love or feeling safe. And I want people to really be able to look at it for a long time and see something different each time. Like a Rorschach card, everyone walks away with something kind of different. I actually see double all the time, and my brain focuses so I can focus, you know, and see and drive and all those things. But when I get tired and things, I see double, and so it's really fun to kind of play with perspective and the line work. So I find etching really enjoyable for the way that I kind of see the world naturally. So reduction block, just to describe the process to start, is basically use one block, and for each color you're carving away the color. So I started with a really nice peach, and then once I did the peach, I took away that color, and then I did the gold, and then I carved away the gold colors. And so I'm each step of the way carving the block for each color. And some people do colors as much as 10 colors for reduction blocks. I might have 6 to 8 prints at the end, and then 6 to 8 people get connected in the world through this one image. They buy it and they don't even know they're connected, but each day they're waking up and they see the same print, and they each are having this shared experience they don't even know about by having this piece of work in their homes. Whereas a painting, it's one and done, it's between you and the artist, but this is about the community of people who appreciate the print. So for me, that's exciting to just kind of have the print be in the world, and to know that there's only these 8 or so people who get to be connected through it. I want people to be continually curious, I think. And some of my pieces, you can rotate it, you know, 3 years down the line, you're like, what does it look like if I put it on its side, or if I put it upside down? And so a lot of my images can be rotated. I think for me, I know when it's working when I feel it. Like, I am my own audience, and so if I'm not feeling it, then I can't expect anyone else to feel it. And so for me, it's like through color, through line, through composition, being able to sort of put the piece, particularly with etching. I mean, there are pieces that I go back and forth with, 20 different versions to sort of get to the right moment where there's balance and it's speaking in the way that I want. I'm a person who walks through a museum, and I don't stop at every image. You see people who take 4 hours in a museum and they're like looking at everything, trying to understand it, reading the placard. I'm like, I pick 3 or 4 pieces and I'm like, that one speaks to me, or the way they did this with the paint, or the way the print did this technique, that's really like makes me think. And I hope that my prints don't need to connect with every single person, but when they do, I hope that people have a moment where they look longer, where it speaks to them and they connect with it, and because of their own backgrounds and their own stories, but they also kind of respect the process, and they respect kind of the way the layers form and the image forms. What's nice about art as a whole is it's not such a linear language. It's a language, but it's not linear where we all have the same language of how we do it, or what we're saying. So how you interpret it is subjective. Period. End of sentence. on the table, it's gone. It's like, then it's in the ether. When something speaks to you, it speaks to you for whatever reason. You have your own unique lived experience and your own unique background that shapes your worldview. And so what's being said doesn't necessarily need to be what's heard.